Linda, can you hear me? Or Miss Robinson, I mean.
Unmute. Hi, can you hear me, Toni?
I can you hear me?
Okay, let me see if I can get, okay, 5th grade, give me 5. Okay,
Okay.
I can get this louder.
Okay.
Okay, what I might do is, let me just use this, it'll just make it amplified for them. Okay, go ahead and talk, let's see.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Live from Ding Darling. Everyone can hear me okay?
The National Wildlife Refuge in Sanibel Island.
Yes.
ParkRangerToni Westland. She's an awesome person. She helps run the Junior Duck Stamp competition. So she's here to talk to us special. Okay,
Yeah.
hey, Toni.
All right, I'm so excited. I've got 15 minutes to teach you all I know about the Duck Stamp program. You all are going to be participating, and then also teach you some ducks that I have here in the classroom with me. So yes, I'm Ranger Toni. I'm live out on Sanibel Island, Florida, which is on the Gulf Coast, all the way down north of the Everglades off of Fort Myers. And I'm so excited to come and talk to you about the duck stamp. So I have to start by saying we are a national wildlife refuge. So we're here to protect the animals, and especially the waterfowl and birds, and to get people excited about art. Ding Darling, which is our namesake, he actually drew the first duck stamp. And you all are going to draw a duck stamp. So this was back in 1934. Ding Darling designed the stamp contest when people bought a duck stamp, and they still can do it today. All of the money goes back to buying land, and we have these awesome national wildlife refuges. There's 23 of them in the state of Florida. So there's a ton of places. You can visit Merritt Island. You can come to Ding Darling. It's on and on. And that's something you can look up later, but a lot of really fun, cool places. But I'm here today to talk to you all about the duck stamp program. So Ding Darling drew the first duck stamp, and now our students all over the country compete in the junior duck stamp, and that's what you all are going to compete in. So what does that mean? Well, kids participate. Here's an example of a mallard, a duck stamp. This one's actually from the Sanibel School right next door. In the state of Florida, we've had as many as 3,000 kids participate. And what's really great is 100 people win. So there's not just one winner, 100 students from across the country draw a duck stamp. Here's one of a wood duck. I wanted to bring these and show you. This is group 1. So kindergarten through seniors all compete in the duck stamp. But what's great is you're broken into groups. So kindergarten through 3rd grade is group 1. Then 4th through 6th grade is group 2. 7th to 9th, and then 10th to 12th. So you're not having kindergartners compete against seniors in high school. So everybody gets a shot. There's 25 winners from each group, so many winners, and we want you all to do your best and to participate. So what do you need to do? You have to pick a duck, a goose, or a swan. And your teacher has that information. It's on our website. There's over 30 different species that you can draw. You can use pictures. Here's a photograph. We've got green winged teal here on the refuge. You can use photo references, pictures someone took. I can get pictures to your teacher. But just like when you write, when you're doing art, you can't just copy someone's work. You need to, because that's called plagiarism. So you need to take a picture of this and a picture of that and make the artwork your own. Maybe you use the head of this duck and the body of that duck and a different background. So create your own masterpiece. You have to create your own masterpiece. And your teacher is going to tell you, give you the paper. They're all horizontal. Another really important thing, a stamp is horizontal, and she's going to give you the right size. Here is a past winner. Ooh, John Brennan is an adult artist right now, and he actually draws in the adult contest. So you all are students competing in the junior duck stamp. Adults still compete in the adult stamp. And then there's a stamp made every single year. I have to point out, Ding Darling, he drew a duck stamp and he created the duck stamp program, but Ding Darling was actually a cartoonist. And here he is, and he drew cartoons through his whole life. Here he's talking about the importance that ducks need refuges. They need these special places to sit and rest. And here's the duck. He's kind of got his stuff and he's moving on out. He's hopefully not going to become extinct. This is what we want. We want to manage these beautiful areas so we have places for ducks. Something else. This morning I was out on the trail. I saw a river otter. I saw an alligator. I saw mangrove cuckoos in the trees. I rescued an anhinga, a bird that was sick from red tide, and I took it to the animal hospital. So all these cool things happen at national wildlife refuges all around us. You just have to get out into nature. So I have some species I want to teach you today. So you're going to pick a duck, a goose, or a swan, and there's a long list. It has to be a native duck, goose, or swan that's found in the United States. So your teacher will help you. Then you collect all your references, if it's pictures, or if it's a mounted duck. So what's kind of cool is that when we have schools nearby, or maybe you know of someone, if you can get a mounted duck like this, someone has hunted it and eaten it, then you would have a specimen that you can actually use and draw and paint. So this is a wood duck, and oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And this is actually a male wood duck. And the lighting maybe isn't the best in my classroom. If the sun was shining on top of it, it would be iridescent. And it's something to learn. When you're studying birds, the male birds are showy and bright, and they have to attract the females. And then the females are more brown and drab. So you could draw just one single duck. You could draw a male and a female. But you have to pick which one really speaks to you. And a lot of people love the wood duck because look at this beautiful speckled chest. Look at those feathers. Look at the iridescent green and orange on its face, its red eye. Look at these beautiful feathers off the back. All of these characteristics are what we call field marks. You need to learn your duck, your goose, or your swan and study the lines. You have to be as accurate as possible to win the junior duck stamp. And again, it is actually made into a stamp. An adult stamp and also a junior duck stamp, a $5 stamp. Your art could be made onto a stamp. It's pretty cool. But these special markings are called field marks. And so if you pick a very bright, colorful, showy duck, you need to make sure you learn the field marks and put them on correctly. Like the wood duck, red eye, orange bill, the white stripes. It's really got this beautiful color all the way down to the tail. You might choose to have a duck sitting on like a stump like this, or one flying in. So you really have to study what it looks like in flight, what it looks like sitting. But wood ducks, they nest in boxes. We have them all over North America. Beautiful, beautiful duck. So you might want to draw or paint the wood duck. Here's another duck I wanted to show you. Wow, not so bright, but still a male duck. And this is, does anybody know? I guess it's hard for me to ask you a question.
Is it a northern pintail?
Does anybody know this duck? It's a northern pintail. And it's got this long tail. That's what it's known for. Beautiful bill, and if you look, it's very blue on the bill, but this one's more drab. You know, you might want to do something so colorful. You've got some banding on its wing. You see the field marks there, but it is still a very beautiful, beautiful bird. You also need to think about proportion. You know, how big is the head to the bill? Some waterfowl has short bills, some have longer bills, heavier bodies. A lot of times when we're telling students about drawing a duck, you can think about shapes. You can think of that this is an oval while this is a circle. Your bill looks more like a triangle. Break it up into pieces, shape it out, add your curves. This one is just sitting again on a piece of wood, but you could choose to do a pintail in flight. Look at how beautiful the chest is. Field marks. You have to think about the position of the duck and all the different markings. Northern pintail, found throughout North America. These special wetlands are so important for these ducks to rest, to nest, to feed. So important that we have them on national wildlife refuges. I've got a bunch of different ducks. So I don't want to hurt him. This one, maybe some of you have chosen for this one. This one is very much black and white, hard to tell, but it's got an iridescent head and a bright yellow eye. This is the common golden eye. And look at the field mark on its that you put that circular field mark in. They sit a lot more hunched down compared to the other ones that have their head up. So you start really looking at how it sits, how it behaves. It's nice if you had something mounted like this, but you can create your masterpiece from pictures. If you don't have it just sitting on a stump, you could have it in the water, floating in the water. You can add the watermarks and how it glistens. So there's lots of different things. Look at the color. We've got these orangish webbed feet. Maybe you have them under the water. So you really can make the masterpiece your own. Just remember, try to be as accurate as possible with those field marks. Here, instead of a longer bill, we've got a shorter, more blunt, dark bill. Golden eye, remember the common golden eye, and then you've got your field marks on it. Very much a black and white, but still super beautiful duck. Ducks, geese, or swan. Now, how do you make a good masterpiece, right? I've been here at Ding Darling 18 years doing the junior duck stamp. I'll have to tell you. So Florida picks all of their winners, 100 winners, and then we pick a best of show. And the best of show is sent to Washington, D.C., the picture. And that's what happened here with John Brennan. This is way back in 2007, 2008. We picked his best of show. This is just a copy. The picture was beautiful. We sent it to Washington, D.C., and then it competes with all 50 states, and they pick the best of show. It's made into the $5 stamp. John did not win. This is a hooded merganser. What a beautiful, we have them in the refuge right now. We have them over at Merritt Island. So we have these ducks in Florida right now. And then how cool, he brought the mangroves, the Florida habitat into it. I was hoping we were gonna win this year. Florida has actually never won the actual stamp. So I'm hoping someone from Florida can make a masterpiece and we can actually win and have our state represented on the junior duck stamp. But we need some talent out there. So beautiful, the feathers, the marking. You could do a hooded merganser. This is the male. Can you see why they call it a hooded merganser? Look at how big that head gets. makes him look big and puffy and elegant and majestic, right? To show off all of his bright colors to the female. So you pick a species, you find all of your pictures and ideas, and you create your own masterpiece. You must create it in whatever medium your art teacher chooses. Remember, it needs to be horizontal, not vertical. Stamps are not vertical. They're horizontal, like a postage stamp, right? And then you have to have the accurate size. So your teacher will give that to you. And then also you're gonna fill out, your teacher will help you fill out an entry blank and it will go on the back. And that's how we know who's in the contest. We then have judges pick the 100 winners from Florida, and then we contact all the winners. And this year, unfortunately, or I should say last year with COVID, we didn't get to have an award ceremony at Ding Darling, but either way, we send all 100 winners their prizes. So you get prizes, and it's super fun. It's way more fun when we get to invite you all to our refuge here on Sanibel. So you'll sign it, and your teacher will sign it, and your parents, showing that it was your work. You put it on the back of your art, and your teacher's then going to send it to us. So when do they need to be done? They need to be postmarked by March 14th. And so that's coming up. And your teacher will work with me to get all of your artwork here to Ding Darling. And then we will have a judging. And everyone will be notified who are the 100 winners in the state of Florida. So very important that you don't plagiarize, right? If you and your friends want to draw the same species, or if your art decides to bring out pictures or specimens, you all can draw the same one, but you make it your own. Make it horizontal, make it as accurate as possible. The judges are looking for an accurate duck. You know, remember, here was the green-winged teal. So beautiful. Look at why they call it the green-winged teal. It does have green on its wing when its wing is out, but look at that beautiful green iridescent eye streak right there. That's a field mark. Brown head, green eye streaked, coming back from the eye, and then, oh my gosh, such a beautiful duck. And look at, I love this picture. You could try to paint something like this where you've got the reflection on the water and the water's glistening. It can be as simple, and I can tell you, the ones that win are simple. You don't have to add all this crazy habitat in the back. Don't add like 100 ducks. Add one major focal point to your art and make it as accurate as possible. That's what the judges are looking for. If it's too busy and there's too much going on and you're trying to do 20 ducks, it's not as good as one or two really big, fill your space, right? Don't put a little duck over in the corner. Fill your space. Make it the colors it's supposed to be. And have people focus in on your bird. If you think about it, eventually there's going to be a winner, and it's going to be made down into a small stamp. And so when it gets way up to Washington, they're actually looking and using these really cool things called refracting lenses, and it shrinks the art down into the size of a postage stamp. And then they can tell, you've got to make sure your duck, your goose, or your swan is going to pop off the paper, because that's what the judges are looking for. Now, this is a photograph, so you can see how pretty and vibrant it is. You try to get as accurate as you can. But I'm telling you, just like the ones I've shown you, and we've got all 100 winners are on display here at Ding Darling. This is a really good one from group 1, kindergarten through 2nd grade, right? I mean, holy cow. Just awesome, awesome, awesome. So remember, different groups, kindergarten through 3rd grade, 4th through 6th grade. We've got 7th through 9th and 10th through 12th. All these kids competing. So it started here in Florida, the Junior Duck Stamp. Now it's in all 50 states. Kids down in the Caribbean even do it, down in our wildlife refuges down in St. Croix, Puerto Rico. We've got national wildlife refuges there. All the students compete, 100 winners from each state. And then one best of show wins the junior duck stamp. So that's really what it's all about. You want to be simple. You want to make it your own. You want to make it horizontal. Don't sign the front. A lot of people will be like, I'm an artist. I'm going to sign my name. No letters on the outside, right? The only letters are on the back, your entry blank, right? Don't sign your artwork. Just do your beautiful specimen on the front. Also on the back, there's what's called a conservation message. And the word conservation is really what we do here at Ding Darling. We conserve, we set the land aside, we save. Conserve means to save. You can win from your pretty drawing, but you can also win by what you write on the back. One line, it asks for a conservation message. What did you learn? What do you know about ducks? What do you know about saving land for animals? And some people, I'll read this one. It says, through conservation, so conserving the land, we can coexist, we can live with wildlife around us. So this student wants to talk about how people and animals can live together. One line, one sentence, that's all you have to put. And we actually have winners of the conservation message. So you can win by your art, and you can actually win by telling us what you've learned. And so that's kind of exciting too. You can win two ways with the junior duck stamp. So that is the junior duck stamp in a nutshell. And I'm wondering, maybe Miss Robinson or if any of the students have any questions about the duck stamp.
Okay, well, real quick, I want to thank you for mentioning that conservation message, because we've actually had a couple students that have won, and one of them actually won 1 year for her art and her conservation message. So, I mean, it's such a simple thing and it's so important. So, any questions? Yes. Okay. Okay, Dakota. Okay, Elijah. Yes, I'm recording this so that I can show it to the other classes. Yes. Does anybody have any questions about the duck stamp contest? No? No questions at all?
Wow.
Oh, yes, one, Kaden. Okay, he wanted to know about the pictures for references. And
yes.
Basically what I'm doing is we're going through and each class is selecting a duck, goose, or swan from those different ones. We went down the whole list. I've got them posted in the hallway. And so they're getting to tweak it based on the reference pictures.
Perfect.
Okay, yes, questions? Okay, boys and girls, I can't hear her question. Yes, she wanted to know if I'm going to have a picture. Yes, I'm going to have pictures for you to draw from.
Perfect.
Dakota. Oh, the question is, are ducks geese and are geese swans?
Oh, wow. So no. So ducks and geese and swans make up a group of birds called waterfowl. And so they're all different. There's actually a snow goose and a nene. It's a Hawaiian state bird. It's a goose. So they're very different. They all make up the same group of living in water, right, called waterfowl. But ducks are not geese and geese are not swans. They're all different species. Good question.
Any other questions? Nevaeh. Which one?
The very last one.
This one? That is a baby mallard.
Ooh.
Pictures of past sketches on the wall. I did. That was when I was doing the step-by-step with Miss Fox's class last year. One of these days, once I retire, maybe I'll start entering in the adult competition.
Yes, get her to enter, right? I bet
right
she
now. Okay, Kaden. Oh, for the conservation? No, for the conservation message, you have to write a sentence or a phrase.
Yep.
You don't have to do the conservation message. See, she's holding it up. You don't have to, but you know what? I'm giving extra credit for anybody that does do the conservation message, in addition to extra credit for just bringing back your entry form.
Yes.
It's one way to get them turned in. Elijah.
Yeah. And it's a really easy way, like, you know, and she's already mentioned, she's had students win it in the past. It's another way to possibly win the contest. So yeah. And we want to know what you've learned. If you know, in the whole process, why art in nature, you know, art and nature, a lot of the same things. Art is beautiful and we see it surrounding us in nature. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just really pretty. What have you learned? What have you seen? What do you think about ducks or geese or swans, you know, in your backyard, or how people impact the wildlife? Yeah, it can be something very simple.
Okay, it looks like we have time for one more question. Elijah.
Okay.
So, are the ducks dying?
Okay, his question is, are the ducks and geese dying?
Okay, well, just like a lot of our wildlife, today I mentioned I rescued an anhinga. That is a bird that dries its wings. It fishes under the water and dries its wings. A lot of our wildlife, yes, is impacted by people on this planet, right? Too many people, or plastics in the water, plastics in the ocean. You know, people, unfortunately, if we litter, if we don't save the animals, and that's why it's important we have park rangers and biologists that want to have clean water, but habitat is disappearing. That's the number one thing that's affecting ducks, all sorts of birds and animals. Here I've got an alligator skull. We protect all sorts of animals here in all of our national wildlife refuges, but the number one thing is habitat loss. The homes, the animals' homes are disappearing. So if there's any way that we can educate people about not littering and taking care of our land and clean water and clean air, it affects us and it affects the animals too.
Here in St. Cloud, that's one of the big things that these kids will notice. There was a large farm across the street from our school that they just put up construction fences. It's going to become several hundred homes. And so all of that land is gone. And I mean, we are getting built up so badly right here in Osceola County that we're losing habitat on a daily basis.
Yep.
So, okay, Ranger Toni, I want to thank you so much for being here. And
yes.
We're just so excited. We've got some great drawings already starting in some of the classes. And hopefully
Perfect.
there for the award ceremony this year. That's one of my best. I'm like, we take the whole weekend, we go down and get to go through the wildlife refuge.
Yeah. Well, we hope to have it again. I would like all of the students to give your teacher a round of applause for inviting me. Come on. Are they clapping? Anyway, thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to see your ducks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.